What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So, we have an update about the shutdown, which is no longer. The 43-day shutdown is over, and we'll go over, what happened, the details, and how I feel about it, and what I think is going to happen going forward. And anyway, so thank you very much for joining me. And if you are new here to ClearTalk, welcome. If you would like to check out videos from rest of the channel, please do so. Consider consider subscribing, like, share, comment, all that good stuff, so that you, to help get videos in front of more people, to help grow the channel. If you'd like to check out videos from my other channels as well, that would be amazing. JMDPLAY, puzzling. If you like what you see, consider subscribing there, and like and share and all that stuff over there as well. If you want to give any kind of support, there's Patreon there for $3 a month to help support any of the channels that you choose, to help grow them, to help grow Patreon itself. That would be amazing. Or you can just do a one-time donation or something. Any way you want to support JMD Nation, become a part of JMD Nation is very much appreciated, and I thank you very much. If you if you're returning, you are freaking amazing, and I thank you very much for coming back over and over and over again. And as we talk about things going on in the country and around the world, and how we feel about it. So we had the longest shutdown in history. Crazy enough, under Trump, which was also the previous one. The extremities of our Congress right now, whether you're talking about the House or the Senate, there's so far so much of a disagreement in the actions being taken or expected of each side, that they just can't get along no matter what. It's what has put a stalemate in Congress over a lot of issues now for a while. And there's having no full supermajority control or anything like that is put to where you have to kind of get the balance of one side or the other in order to pass anything, and that's what's basically happened here. We had this Sunday, I think it was 6, maybe 8, one or the other, Democrats that decided to buckle under pressure, and gave in to passing the spending bill through the Senate, which then sent it back to the House for approval, which they did approve on Wednesday night. The House approval was 222 to 209. And that then went, of course, to Trump to sign off on, ending the 43-day shutdown. The only thing, the fight, as we talked about previously, was that this was a spending, a continuation spending bill. The one big beautiful bill was already passed, and those effects on our budget and spending for different agencies and stuff are little by little being put into place. Guidelines are, coming out little by little to make adjustments. Some of those adjustments went into place in October. Some were supposed to go into place, I think, maybe even this month or by the first of the year. There are different areas where those things are being applied and making adjustments. One big adjustment, as one big effect from the shutdown, was SNAP, which we've talked about over and over again. And those adjustments are being put into place. We're putting restrictions on SNAP benefits or whatever. But this bill was a continuation as far as just a spending budgetary bill. It was a continuation bill because it couldn't agree on a full appropriations bill, which would be like a funding bill for an entire year. This was a continuation bill to at least continue some spending, like as they are, until I think January 30th, or 31st. And and some of it was actually going ahead and improving certain funding, which SNAP and WIC and stuff like that was included in that, up until all the way through September of next year. So a whole year's worth of continuation spending on that. Because they already, which I think I saw it was like 107 billion that they're putting towards just SNAP alone, which is a massive amount, honestly. But they already have those, restrictions, upgraded restrictions on SNAP, which is going to ultimately remove a lot of people from SNAP, or at least reduce their amount that they would be receiving based on the One Big Beautiful Bill restrictions. So that, while they are appropriating, and that's what Democrats were fighting on was the fact that this being a continuation bill, they were fighting for a continuation for the subsidies for the ACA. That was what they were fighting for that to be continued for another year, just like the appropriations for other areas were being accepted for a whole year, while they would halt other spending negotiations until January. That's what the Democrats were asking for, so that these subsidies would remain in place and would protect healthcare expenses for people all over the country for another year, until they could figure out something else if they needed to work along with Republicans to potentially find something that would improve the ACA, or even potentially, which what the Republicans are probably wanting to do, is replace it. There have been no plan put forth by Republicans in replacing it outside of just sending money to American people, bypassing the insurance companies, which, I mean, I understand that argument, and I actually could potentially see myself getting behind some type of plan for that, depending upon how it was executed and how it would work. But again, there's been no details for that, no plan put forth on how that would even work. So, and I think that would really just be a way of trying to push them forward for people to get more into the privatized market. I think that's what the ultimate push there would be, is to try to eliminate any kind of public option into private, insurance, which I do not agree with. But that's what this was about. And Democrats, up to this point, they pushed for up to 43 days. They pushed this trying to force Republicans to allow these subsidies to continue, as we've talked about. And then suddenly, even though all the cards were there, we had it on our side. People were feeling like the Republicans were more of the issue than the Democrats. Even though they were still both high, the leaning was that the Republicans were the problem. We had, we've talked about that. And then they cave. They get, whatever it was, 6, 8, whatever. Democrats in the Senate buckled, gave way for the budget to go through, because their claim was Republicans are just not going to give up. They're just not going to give up. So there was no way, it just wasn't going to be we weren't going to get what we were asking for, so we just let it go. Fucking weak as hell. And the only negotiation that they did get in accepting this was that they would the handshake promise of bringing up the ACA subsidies next month for a vote. And the other the other agreement that they got was that all federal workers that were furloughed or did not receive pay throughout this shutdown would receive full compensation. Just making sure, because Republicans had kind of been wishy-washy on whether or not they were going to pay back this money lost by these employees, based on whether or not maybe they stayed and worked or they didn't work or what. They were playing around in this. We may pay some, we may not pay some. So the Democrats were trying to guarantee that all federal workers were to be paid. Okay, which that is good. I completely agree there. I think that was a good thing to force Republicans to agree to. But Mike Johnson has already stated, when it comes to the ACA subsidies for next month, that he is not committing to bringing a vote whatsoever on it. The Republicans do not want that at all. They've stated that over and over again. That was the whole fight. If they were interested in doing that, they would have just let this be in there from the get-go, and there would have never been a shutdown. Okay? So the likelihood that this is going to come up next month for any kind of a vote is pretty much dead in the water. And this is the whole problem and issue with bowing the knee, that the Senate Democrats did in allowing this to pass without any kind of guarantee on the healthcare costs, healthcare side of this. So Republicans, yes, they voted through a CR bill, a continuation bill, which continues funding the government as it was set. Some programs for a year, the rest of government until January 31st or 30th, whatever. And then they would have to then fight again, and there's a possibility of another government shutdown in February if they do not agree. And I guarantee you, if the Republicans do not bring up a vote for the ACA subsidies next month, lo and behold, there will be a shutdown in February. The Democrats will once again push for something to be done on health care for that. I guarantee you they will. Or I would be surprised if they don't. Unless the Republicans can somehow come up with some kind of plan within the next within the next month in remedying the issue of healthcare premiums skyrocketing double, triple, or more all across America, with the price of everything also already going up. People already can't afford housing, it's harder and harder to afford food, harder and harder to afford, other stuff because of the tariffs and everything that this administration has put forth. The economy is getting worse. It's getting better for the people that this administration wanted to be better for, and it's getting worse for the people that they don't care about, like me and you. While they have pushed through their bill, which gives trillions of dollars in tax cuts to the wealthy, while cutting programs all over the place, whether it be through SNAP, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, other stuff that they have cut, educational programs. They're making cuts in student loans. They're making like anything that potentially can help regular people. They've made cuts to, while making sure that the wealthy are taken care of. And you see that in the wealthiest of America has, I mean, largely increased their wealth over the past few years. Uh, they did it, in the first administration, and now they are just bringing it all in this administration as well. So we see that over. That's not, that's like duh. Like that's what this administration is about. So how does that affect one big issue? The one good thing is that people are getting paid. You will be getting your back pay. I understand and hope that, because I have family members that I know have been without pay. I'm happy that they are getting their pay, and that is going to be remedied. And it was unfortunate all across America for people to not get paid. Quite frankly, I think there should be, even in a shutdown, people should still get paid. Period. I don't understand why not. When the ultimate goal is to pass it, and it's going to be passed at some point, you should just pay. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, unless the bill is making some massive ass change to how those payments are, what those payments are and how they're being received or whatever. Like, if this is a continuation bill as it was and nothing necessarily was going to change, then people should just be paid. That's what I think. Just like the SNAP benefits should have been paid out. There should have been no lapse in that. Period. And it's I think there should be something. Federal employees should not. If Congress can continue to get paid, federal employees should continue to get paid. Period. There's no, like, if you don't have funding to pay federal employees, then you don't have the funding to pay Congress. I'm just saying, or any, the executive or anything. Nobody should be getting paid. Period. So that's where I land there. But yes, thankfully, people will be receiving their money, their paychecks, going all the way back to help get their lives back in order. Getting their bills back in order and everything. And then SNAP recipient, that's another thing that I don't know how that's going to play out. I know, like in the state here in Mississippi, on the 10th, they went through with the 65% SNAP agreement that the USDA and the administration had agreed to prior to this bill being passed. So how, now that the shutdown is over, the 100% portion will be, like, I don't know, has been no update yet as far as I can tell on the USDA website, nor the state site, on how that will be remedied and when. While other states that went ahead and just sent people money anyways, they got their 100% already, which is fantastic, and in my opinion, what every state should have done, regardless. Those states that were restricting themselves around this bill and this shutdown, and how the administration was responding and dealing to the shutdown. It's very unfortunate and yet to be seen how that will be remedied. I would assume that the adjustments would be made to fill that gap of the 35% that was not paid out. But I don't know. It could be that the administration just says, yeah, it's 65 and that's it for November. I don't know. That's yet to be seen, and I'll be trying to pay attention to that to update you on if that comes to be the case. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Shutdown's over for now. The vote for ACA is promised, but doesn't look like there's a good chance whatsoever of that actually coming to fruition next month. And I think that will greatly affect whatever is to happen in January when it comes to the another vote argument over appropriations or another continuation bill or whatever happens in that instance. So the fight is not over. This is, just a Band-Aid over an issue that has yet to be fixed. But again, good that hopefully the nation, at least for the time being, the short time being here, can get back on track. People get their bills paid, get caught back up, and get food, flights and stuff for the holidays, get sort of back on track. Although we learned that private jets did not have, they did not hurt whatsoever. The rich, both those who could, those who could afford private jets, they had no problem getting around, and those they were actually given access in a lot of cases over commercial flights. So take that. I mean, understand that, again, when it comes to, if you've got the money and you've got the means, you aren't affected, period. Even when it comes to airspace. So that was wild. That was wild to me. So hopefully, though, we get people fully back to work as far as our air traffic controllers too, when it comes to the flight stuff, and people will be able to get around. Flights will be continued for the holidays, so hopefully that's not disrupted. People will now be able to, buy their foods for the holidays, hopefully undisrupted. And get through, and this is including even Christmas. But then the concern, and I think it will start to hit home, especially if these ACA subsidies are not continued next month, or not agreed on or voted on. The concern will start to arise in all across America on the impact that health insurance costs are going to have. And I think that's going to be pretty big. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for joining me here. And until next time, peace, clear talk. I'm out.